This is a really cool game by Midway. I've never seen it in an arcade because basically when you first play it, it's like you're like, what the hell? I'm a bubble in a sink. What a stupid game, right? But actually, this is really, really a fun game. I would suggest this game for Arcade1up.
Oh, do you want to go to...
No, I'm good right now.
Good?
Yeah.
Let me know. Hey, we got to clean up your room again.
Uh,
Oh. Oh, it was better.
it's actually a really fun game and addicting too. I just recommend this for the Arcade1up. If they come out with like a 10-in-1 Midway, which they might come out with another 12-in-1 Atari. But it seems like they can't get they're not putting, like say Data East, RoboCop's the most popular game Data East ever made, but then they have to pay RoboCop money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how they do that. And that goes the same thing with Atari, because you want the Star Wars game, but then you got to pay Star Wars for the name. And I think they're trying to avoid that situation. In other words, they're getting these popular games, but if it's got a movie thing on it, they won't put them up because they haven't figured out how to negotiate that. So I don't think they're gonna be coming out with like those. I think I think Tron's a hint. They'll come out with Tron, but they like the two-player games. So, I don't know. I think Street Hoops might come out next year. Or, see, I don't. They're kind of not going fast enough. That's a kind of a weird thing. In other words, they should go faster. In other words, the next wave of Arcade1ups should probably be 4 cabinets in September. Because it's not going fast enough. Because the problem is if you don't just throw out the best of the best that you got and a good number of them, then people are just going to go, well, why don't I just use a Mammy cabinet? Why don't I just do it that way instead of waiting for them to come out with the games that I like? But I'm just suggesting this game is really fun and massively overrated. Just like Root Beer Tapper is massively not fun and massively overrated. But I'd like to see this on Arcade1up. I'd like to see Street Hoops. I'd like to see Heavy Barrel. I'd like to see the Primal Rage video game. I'd like to see Star Wars from Atari, because they're coming out with Qbert in September. I'm not sure if they are, but I have a pretty good idea they're going to come out with Qbert, because they already have the rights to Qbert. So that means any other game on there will be an Atari game, because Atari bought out Qbert. So I don't know how they're going to mix that together. Because if they come out with Qbert, then they're going to try to put other games on there that are like Qbert. And Atari mostly has the real old school games. I like shooters that are not like Space Invaders. I like shooters like the Major Havoc shooter. The only problem is I don't like the rest of the game. But like when you're looking forward shooters, I like those better. They're more fun in my personal opinion. But I'm just suggesting this game because it actually is very underrated and it actually is really fun. It's real simple to figure out what games are good and what games are not good. There might be a game that's so popular back in the day, but it's popular back in the day for its time period. You have to go back and actually play the game. And if it feels like it's fun, well, then it's worth putting it on an Arcade1up thing. If it's a real popular game, but you're playing it and you do not feel like it's fun, then it was just popular for that time period. Doesn't mean it's popular anymore. You know what I mean, Asteroids was popular because that was the best that they had at that time. Doesn't mean it's the funnest game in the world, which I think it is a decently fun game. But I'm just saying, you got to think about that. Is it, because Root Beer Tapper is clearly, without a doubt, the most, for Midway, it's the most overrated, crappy game, in my opinion. But when you first come up to it, you're like, whoa, this is an interesting game. But when you start playing it, you realize it's not even fun. So, just a suggestion.